Hello, this is Frank Escandell and this is Omnivergence towards the advent of HXR. I am also an ambassador to the University of Murcia chapter here in southeastern Spain. So let's get on with it. Basically, who is Frank Escandell? As you can see, I hail from Miami in my case. Completed as an alumnus at Singularity University, and also some of my education includes an MBA program at Antonio de Nebrija University here in Spain. I have been a lecturer and a tech evangelist, being invited as a speaker or as a panel expert in these universities. Some of these are in Spain, like Escandell Business School and Universidad Politécnica de Cartagena. From a professional standpoint, some of my achievements being working for a Spanish technology company back from 2014 to 2018 is basically to have come up and to be a part of the pioneering team outside the United States for Google Glass Explorer, the first and old version of it, and working and developing solutions not only for Google Glass Enterprise 1 and Enterprise 2, also for other devices, in this case for assisted and augmented reality. As you can see, I am a CEO of a small company here in Spain called Event Horizon Technologies. We're also hardware resellers for the new Google Glass Enterprise 2 in this case. And I myself have a radio show and one of the main public networks here in southern Spain called the Spectral Revolution, but it's all in Spanish, of course. Those of you who speak Spanish, you're more than welcome to join us. Basically, what has brought me to coin this term, omnivergence, in this case, was the reading throughout the years of certain books. For example, as you can see, Richard Buckminster Fuller, he made references of omniconvergence of angles and figures, geometrical figures, and how to build universe. He never used the universe, he never used the article in this case. And also Gregory Stock made a man, The Society of Mind by Marvin Minsky. Of course, Marshall McLuhan, Understanding Media, The Extensions of Man, that's very important to take into account. And also Jean Baudrillard, Simulacra and Simulation, which we will refer to ahead in the presentation. So what's omnivergence? Well, in order to grasp a little bit of this proposed concept, we required 3 laws and 1 graph. Moore's law, that's our first law. Well, Moore's law states that, we can expect the speeding capability of our computers to increase or double about every couple of years, and this has been the guide for the semiconductor industry. Nowadays, this is being called Huang's Law, after Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA Corp, when he announced in October 2018 that basically Moore's Law was dead. It has to do with the silicon chips and artificial intelligence. That's what part of NVIDIA's work nowadays. This is one. And then the other one is basically Kurzweil's law, or what is called the law of accelerating returns. Okay, so basically it's the tendency for advances to feed on themselves, then increasing the rate of further advance and pushing well past what one might expect or project by linear extrapolation of current progress in this case. So what happens is that basically one technology starts feeding off another, and then another, and then another. Okay, we'll get to that in 1 second. The third law would be Metcalfe's in this case. And although this law has recently been seriously questioned, it explains how the value of networks grow exponentially. And then, of course, a graph. I would recommend that for those of you specifically in smart glasses and HMDs, always pay attention to the Gartner Hype Cycle for Emerging Technologies. It is published every year. In this case, this is 2020s. As you can see, where AR and VR are located, on the graph, basically, if we go back to innovation trigger, that's important because if you see the full graph, you will see lots of dots of different technologies there. But what happens, the graph doesn't tell you that what happens is that the teams from such and such technologies start somehow cross-pollinating each other, okay, and disrupting each other. And that's what omnivergence comes in, and it may come as a phenomenon. So basically, omnivergence would be the singularity of all technologies. To be more specific, the singularity, quote unquote, of all mutually reinforcing, cross-generated, cooperatively disrupting, emerging, convergent, divergent technologies. So I'm probably shooting my own foot here, but when it comes to my own industry, will these apparatuses serve as a strategy, a scheme, an approach, a true platform to the omnivergence? And I'm talking about smart glasses here and head-mounted devices. Will they serve that purpose? Well, probably not. And here's a bet. The answer to a true Internet of Senses, an omnivergence in this case, may lie or might lie with the brain-computer interface, and I'm going to say why. So, for example, someone quite relevant just realized how extremely challenging smart glasses and HMDs are to omniverge digital realities into one, or at least to deploy. In this case, augmented reality, it is extremely challenging. So, Mr. Zuckerberg, welcome to my world. And also back in March of 2018, in a company I worked for, we pioneered an Amazon marketplace-like ecosystem for smart glasses. So it was basically hardware, software platform, okay, all in one. And on this presentation event in Madrid, in conjunction with Google, I myself stated that a smart glasses-based augmented reality was not a technological disruption, but a transitional technology. So, what's beyond, or what could be beyond assisted, augmented, virtual, mixed, and extended reality? We'll just call it HyperX reality or hyper extended reality. But for that, we need to know what hyper reality is. Basically, it's a concept developed by French philosopher Jean Baudrillard. Hyper reality is basically the inability to distinguish reality from a simulation of reality. Especially on his book, A Simulacra and Simulation. Okay, do you remember the Matrix film? Of course, none of you have watched it. Well, the Wachowskis were very solid in showing it off to the masses. It's a sort of a box where Neo keeps all his the results and the fruit of all his illegal hacking activities. Therefore, HXR, or HyperX reality or hyper-extended reality, would be the omnivergence of specifically assisted, augmented, virtual, mixed, and extended reality into our field of vision and operating from inside our cranial perimeter. That's the more pragmatic approach. But of course, for that, and almost from a philosophical standpoint, we must consider what real means. The word real. So that we should get rid of the word virtual, because it is not virtual, it is all real. It is all real reality. And I apologize for the tautology or pleonasm, okay? But as Marshall McLuhan stated, it is an extension of our nervous systems, basically. So it is all real. So how would such a melting pot, one of you may ask, how would such a melting pot of digital realities convive with, say, artificial intelligence, blockchain, big data? Oh, you will have to stay tuned in that case because this is a work in progress. And those are very, very good questions. So I will be publishing soon enough regarding this ever-developing concept. But it's what we're talking about basically is what exactly this event is all about. Is about what is the unlimited reality, what is it that we are not seeing we're trying to peek into the future. What is it that we must consider, and what is it that we are not seeing? This is part of it. So stay tuned. Thank you very much for your attention, and let's go to Q&A.